Dear friends, last time we have talked about the synchronous counter but with the steering logic. Synchronous counter means the clock is applied in synchronism with all the flip-flops simultaneously. That means all the flip-flops are changing the state in synchronism with the clock pulse and hence the glitches will not occur after the decoding gates and you will get a glitch-free signal at the decoding gates. Now, second important things, because all the flip-flops changes the state in simultaneously, the settling time of this counter is only one propagation delay time of single flip-flop. And hence, this is a faster counter compared to asynchronous counter, but slightly different variation you are going to study over here. Previously, we have steered the clock pulses to the second flip-flop, third flip-flop, fourth flip-flop, like that way. Second clock pulse to the second flip-flops, every fourth clock pulse to the third flip-flop, every eighth clock pulse to the third or fourth flip-flops. That way it was steered the clock pulse. That's why it is known as a steering logic. Now, here it is slightly different logic is going to be there. Here the clock is given to all the flip-flop simultaneously and without any connecting a AND OR network. But AND OR network is utilized between the two flip-flops and it will see that the output of this Z, that is OR gate, is connected to J and K input of another flip-flops and hence the flip-flop is going to be enabled or the flip-flop is going to be disabled. When J and K condition is going to be 0, 0, the output is not going to be changed even if it hits the clock negative transition. And that way, the flip-flop is going to be using a look-ahead logic. So here, the another type of the synchronous counter which you are going to study. A parallel up-down counter can be formed by using a slightly different logic scheme as shown in figure 10.40. Remember that in a parallel counter, the time at which any flip-flop changes the state is determined by the state of all previous flip-flop in the counter. In the count up mode, a flip-flop must toggle every time all previous flip-flop are in one state and clock makes a transition. In a countdown mode, flip-flop toggle must occur when all prior flip-flops are in a zero state. How this works, we'll see with the circuitry. This particular counter works in an inhibit mode since each flip-flop changes the state on clock negative transition provided its J and K inputs are both high. A change of state will not occur when the J and K inputs are low. That means when the J is equal to 0, K is equal to 0, this is no change conditions. So when this condition is going to be maintained, J is equal to K is equal to 0, then even if negative transition of the clock pulse will take place, the output of the flip-flop will remain in a previous state. It will not change. If it was high, it remains into the high. If it was low, it remains into the low state. But another condition, if J is equal to 1, K is equal to 1, then it is called toggle mode conditions. That means when J is equal to K is equal to 1, on next negative transition of the clock pulse, the flip-flop will be toggle. That means the output is complemented. So if the previous output was high, it is converted to low. Or if the previous output is low, then it is going to be changed to high. That is called toggling. We might consider this is a look-ahead logic since the mode of the operations occurs in a strict time sequence as follows. So glitch problem will not be there. You see this circuitry of the 4-bit synchronous counter and that's why 4 JK flip-flops are going to be utilized. Here in a first flip-flops, J and K is supposed to be connected with the VCC. This is a very important thing. You see these things. What happens? And the clock is given to these flip-flops. Clock is directly given to the clock input of the flip-flop A. So this flip-flop A is changing the state every time there is a negative transition of the clock pulse will be there. You can see that there is a bubble and triangle is there. That means it is negative edge triggered flip-flops. So whenever clocks makes a transition from high to low, this flip-flop is going to be toggle. That means output of A is going to be changed from previous state, and A bar is mirror image of its. Now, between flip-flop A and flip-flop B, there is a AND/OR network. X1, Y1 and Z1 is given. The same thing between the flip-flop B and C. Again, there is a X2, Y2 and Z2. This network is given. And between the flip-flop C and D, there is a network X3, Y3 and Z3. That AND/OR network is connected like this. But the number of inputs are going to be different. How these flip-flops are going to be work? See this thing, first things. All flip-flops are given clock directly to the its clock input. So without questions, every flip-flop are changing the state on negative transition of the clock pulse directly. And output of Z1 is connected to J and K input. Output of Z2 is also connected to the J and K input of the next flip-flop. Output of Z3 is connected to the J and K input of the flip-flop D. It means that if output of Z1, Z2 and Z3, any one which is going to be high, that means next flip-flop is going to be enabled. Or if output of Z1, Z2, Z3, any one of these is going to be low, then the next flip-flop J and K input is going to be in no change conditions. That means 0, 0. And hence, even if that getting the negative transition of the clock pulse, it will not change the state. Now, if you see the truth tables, what is the requirement? There are two ways this counter can work. In a count up mode as well as in a count down mode. Count up mode means it is progressing with every clock pulse from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that way. And it is advancing up to the modulus of that means decimal equivalent of 50. And then again it is going to be reset to 0, 0, 0. That means again the count sequence start again. That means there are a number of discrete states from 0, 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1, 1. So number of states are going to be 16 because there are 4 flip-flops are going to be utilized. That means 2 raised to 4, there are 16 discrete states will be there with the content of the counter. So this is called modulus of 16 counter. Now look carefully about the truth table. When A is required to change the state, observe these things. A is required to change the state every time when there is a clock negative transition will occur. From 0 to 1, from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4, every time there is a negative transition occurs of the clock pulse, then the flip-flop A is required to be changed. Either it is in a count up mode or it is in a count down mode. A is required to change the state with every negative transition of the clock pulse. And hence, if you see the circuitry here, that is the reasons why J and K is connected to the VCC. That means they are getting permanently J and K is going to be 1, 1 conditions. That means it is working only in a toggle mode conditions. Either it is in a count up mode or it is in a count down mode, whatever mode it may be, but it is working as a toggle mode condition only. So no other logic is required for the flip-flop A. Flip-flop A is going to be toggle every time there is a negative transition of the clock pulse occur. Either it is in a count up mode or it is in a count down mode. Now see the truth table in this one. When B is required to change the state, not every time, not from 0 to 1, B is required to change the state. It is required to change the state from 1 to 2. So can we think about something? Yes. Whenever A is high and clocks makes a transition, then B is required to change the state from here to here. A is high, then clock makes a transition and B is changing the state from 0 to 1. Again, when A is going to be high, that means the count number 3 to 4, B is required to change to make the toggle, or it is required to change the state from 1 to 0. Again, when A is going to be high, then B is required to change the state. So every time whenever A is going to be high, B is required to change the state. So that is the reasons in this circuitry we have made one of the input is count up line, another input A itself. So when the count up mode is there, count up line is going to be high, count down line is going to be low. Whenever count down line is going to be low, this Y1, Y2 and Y3, all these three gates are getting one input low, and hence they are going to be disabled. That means no signal can pass through this one. Output of Y1, Y2 and Y3, they are going to be 0. But count up line is going to be high, that means one of the input is high. So whenever A is going to be high, output of X1 is going to be high, which is one of the input of Z1 OR gate. And whenever OR gate output is going to be high, then J and K input is going to be high. So B is going to be toggle on next negative edge of the clock pulse. So on a count 1 to 2, 3 to 4, then 5 to 6, then 7 to 8, then 9 to 10, then 11 to 12, then 13 to 14, and then 15 to 0, B is toggling. And that is the reasons this connection is connected like this. In a countdown mode, what happens? Count up line is going to be low. So X1, X2, X3 are going to be disabled. Output of X1 is going to be 0, output of X2 is going to be 0, output of X3 is going to be 0. But whenever A is going to be low, but A bar is going to be high. Whenever A bar is going to be high and count down line is going to be high, output of Y1 is going to be high. That means output, one of the input of Z1 is going to be high and J and K is going to be high, and that means next negative edge of the clock pulse, the flip-flop B is going to be toggle. So at which count it is going to be toggling? If you see that in a count down mode, it's changing from state number 0 to 1, 0 to 15, the flip-flop B is going to be toggled. From 14 to 13, flip-flop B is going to be toggled. From 12 to 11, flip-flop B is going to be toggled. 10 to 9, flip-flop B is going to be toggled, and so on. So this way it works in a countdown mode. Now the same logic is applied for the flip-flop C. Now there is a gate X2. So whenever A is high, B is high, and count up line is going to be high. In a count up mode, count up line is always high. So this input is going to be high, A is high, B is high, then output of X2 is going to be high, and one of the input of Z2 is going to be high. So J and K input is going to be high, and next negative edge of the clock pulse, the flip-flop C is going to be toggled. In a countdown mode, whenever A bar is going to be high, B bar is going to be high, and countdown line is going to be high, then output of Y2 is going to be high, and one of the input of Z2 is going to be high. So J and K is going to be high, and next negative edge of the clock pulse, the flip-flop C is going to be toggled. The same kind of logic you can observe over here. So when in a count up mode, when you can synchronize with the truth table also. You see this C, when C is required to change the state, whenever A is high, B is high, and C is required to be toggled from 0 to 1. Again, whenever A is high, B is high, that means here count number 7 to count number 8. So when A is high, B is high, then C is required to be toggled from 1 to 0. Again, from count number 11 to 12, A is high, B is high, then C is required to be toggled from 0 to 1. Again, at the count number 15 to 0, A is high, B is high, then C is required to be toggled from 1 to 0. So this way, it is working in a count up mode. So you can see that when A's count up line is high and A and B is going to be high, output of X2 is going to be high. So output of Z2 is going to be high and J and K is going to be enabled, or it is in a toggle mode conditions, and next negative edge of the clock pulse, the flip-flop C is going to be toggle. In a countdown mode, count up line is going to be low, so X2 is going to be 0. But output of Y2 can be enabled if A bar is going to be high, B bar is going to be high. And countdown line is going to be high, so Y2 is going to be high. So one of the input of Z2 is going to be high, and hence J and K is going to be preconditioned to high, and next negative edge of the clock pulse, the flip-flop C is going to be toggle in countdown mode. So in a countdown mode, that means in this directions, you see that when the flip-flop C is going to be toggle from state 0 to 15. Again it is going to be toggle when A is high, A is low, B is low. That means A bar is going to be high, B bar is going to be high, and flip-flop C is going to be toggle. Again from count number 8 to count number 7. A is low, B is low. That means A bar and B bar is going to be high, and the flip-flop C is going to be toggle. Again here, when A is low, B is low, from count number 4 to count number 3, the flip-flop is going to be toggle in countdown mode. Same thing happened in a flip-flop D. Now, whenever count up line is going to be high and ABC is going to be high, the output of X3 is going to be high, one of the input of Z3 is going to be high, so J and K is preconditioned to 1-1 conditions, toggle mode conditions, and next negative edge of the clock pulse, the flip-flop D is going to be toggle. And that is, you can see here, whenever count up mode, whenever A is high, B is high, and C is high, then D is required to be toggled from count number 7 to count number 8. Again, 8 when A is equal to high, B is equal to high, and C is equal to high, D is required to be toggled from 1 to 0 on count number 15 to count number 0. And this can be fulfilled with our previous state. That is, in a count up mode, whenever count up line and ABC is going to be high, X3 is going to be high, and J and K is going to be high, and D is going to be toggle on next negative edge of the clock pulse. And similarly, in a countdown mode, when D is required to be toggle, when A is low, B is low, and C is low. That means A bar is going to be high, B bar is going to be high, and C bar is going to be high. Then the flip-flop D is required to be toggle from count number 0 to count number 15. Again from count number 8, A is low, B is low, and C is low. That means A bar is high, B bar is high, and C bar is high. Then the flip-flop D is going to be toggle from 1 to 0 at count number 8 to 7. And this way, this is working in count up mode as well as in a countdown mode. Now, the same thing I'm going to read here with a different synopsis. Establish a level on J and K inputs. Either it is going to be low or it is going to be high. That means it is working in a no change conditions or it is working in toggle mode conditions. Let the clock makes a transition from high to low. That means negative edge of the clock pulse. Look at the flip-flop output to determine whether it is going to toggle or not. So when the negative transition of the clock is going to be occur, then the output of the flip-flop is going to be toggle. To understand the logic used to implement this counter, refer to the truth table shown in a figure 10.14b. That means considering the truth table, we have prepared the circuitry according to the requirement of the truth table. And we have seen that it is working properly. A is required to change the state each time the clock goes low, and flip-flop A therefore has both its J and K inputs held in the high state. This is true in both the count up and count down modes, and thus no other logic is necessary for this flip-flop. That's why the J and K inputs of this flip-flop A is directly connected with the VCC. In the count up mode, B is required to change the state each time A is high and clock goes low. Whenever count up line and A are both high, the output of the gate X1 is going to be high. Whenever either input of Z1 is high, the output is high. Therefore, J and K input to the flip-flop B are high whenever both count up and A are high. Then, in a count up mode, clock negative transition will toggle B each time A is high, such as in going from count 1 to count 2, or count 3 to count 4, and so on. In countdown mode, B must change the state each time A bar is high and clock goes low. The output of gate Y1 is going to be high, and thus the J and K input to the flip-flop B are high whenever A and countdown line is going to be high. A bar and countdown line is going to be high. Thus, in a countdown mode, B changes the state every time A bar is high and clock goes low, going from 0 to 15, 14 to 13, etc. So, it is working in a countdown mode. In the count up mode, a clock negative transition must toggle the flip-flop C every time both A and B are high. Transition from 3 to 4, 7 to 8, 11 to 12, and 15 to 0. The output of gate X2 is going to be high whenever both A and B are high, and the count up line is going to be high. Thus, the J and K input to the flip-flop C are high during these times, and C changes the state during this necessary transition. In a countdown mode, C is required to change the state whenever both A bar and B bar is going to be high. That means A and B is going to be low. The output of gate Y2 is going to be high. At any both A bar and B bar is going to be high, the countdown line is going to be high. Thus, the J and K input to the flip-flop C are high during this time, and C then changes the state during the required transition, that is from 0 to 15, 12 to 11, 8 to 7, and 4 to 3. In the count up mode, D must toggle every time A, B, C are all high. The output of gate X3 is going to be high, and thus the J and K input to the flip-flop D are high. Whenever A, B, C, and count up all are high, thus the D changes the state during the transition from 7 to 8 and from 15 to 0. In the countdown mode, a clock negative transition must toggle the flip-flop D whenever A bar, B bar, and C bar are all high. The output of gate Y3 is high, and thus the J and K inputs to the flip-flop D are high whenever A, B, C, and countdown line are all high. Thus, D changes the state during the transition from 0 to 15, from 8 to 7. The count up and count down waveform for this counter are exactly like those shown in a figure 12.10. That means the waveform are exactly same as you studied in a synchronous counter with steering logic. The same kind of waveform is going to be obtained over here. So you can draw the same waveform, or either it is a steering logic synchronous counter is there, or it is a look ahead synchronous counter is there. Take a look at the logic diagram for the 5474191 TTL MSI circuit shown in figure 10.15. That means the IC which is available using the look ahead logic is 74191, which is a TTL series, transistor logic operating at 5 volt. Remember, medium scale integration circuits will be there. This is also a synchronous up down counter. It can work in up counting mode as well as in a down counting mode. A careful examination of AND OR gate logic used two preconditions, the J and K input to each flip-flop, will reveal that this counter used the look ahead logic exactly like the counter in figure 10.14. Additional logic allows one to clear or preset this counter to any desired count. That means just like in a previous IC 193, this IC is also having additional logic array. That means you can precondition this counter, you can preset this counter from any state, and you can start counting in a count up mode or in a count down mode from that particular state. And similarly, there is a clear input is also there. That means whenever you activate that clear input, all flip-flops are going to be reset 0, 0, 0, 0. For now, carefully compare this logic diagram with the counter in figure 10.14 to the certain you understand its operation. Notice carefully that clock input passes through the inverter before it is fed to the individual flip-flop. So you understand that we are using the negative, we are using here the master slave JK flip-flop, which is going to be negative age triggered flip-flops. So actual output is going to be occur after the negative age, which is going to be hit to the flip-flop. But prior to that, inside the IC, there is inverter is used. So if you apply the input signal, then at the positive transition of the input signal, the flip-flop output is going to be toggle. That way you can draw the waveforms. Thus, the output of the 4 master slave flip-flop will change the state only on low to high transition on the input clock because it is passing through the inverter. Typical waveforms are given in figure 10.15. Incidentally, these are precisely the same waveform one would expect when using the 5474193 discussed previously. This is the IC 5474191. 54 series stand for military operation and 74 stand for commercial applications. The temperature difference is going to be there. Otherwise, everything is going to be mostly same. So, this commercial applications, you can see that this is a 16 pin IC. Pin number 16 is connected with the VCC plus 5 volt regulated power supply. And this is going to be ground because this is TTL IC. So you have to apply plus 5 volt constantly. Now, pin number, you can see this pin numbers. Pin number 1, 2, 3, 4, like this way, 8, 10 up to 16 will be there. Pin number 1 is the data input B. Pin number 9 and 10, that is also data input C and D. And pin number 15 is also data input A. That means whichever state you want to precondition this counter, that means you want to preset this counter at a particular state corresponding to the ABCD input has to be given. That means that corresponding to the input, this A, B, C and D has to be given, just like a previous IC. Suppose you want to start the counting from state number 5. That means state number 5 corresponding to that A is equal to 0, B is equal to 1, C is equal to 0 and D is equal to 1. This condition has to be established on this data input. That is, the data has to be given at pin number 1, supposed to be 1. Then C and D and A, this kind of input you have to precondition. Then you have to load this data. How you are going to load this data? This load input is supposed to be activated. That means it shows the bubble. That means it is negative age activated. So, or active low. That means the load input is activated when it makes low. And this data will be transferred to the output. What is the output? You can see that pin number 2, 3. Pin number 3 is QA. Pin number 2 is QB. Pin number 6 is QC. And pin number 7 is QD. These are the outputs. So QA is going to be LSB and QD is going to be MSB. So you can write QD, QC, QB and QA. So whenever this load signal is going to be activated, that means whenever it is low, this data which you have already applied 0101, that will be loaded into the flip-flop and QD, QC, QB and QA becomes 0101 on applying a next positive edge of the clock pulse. This is a enable signal. This is enabling the counters. That means this chip is going to be enable or disable using this one. This is also active low. That means pin number 4, when it makes active low, then and then only this IC is activated or it will start working. Otherwise, whenever it is high, the IC is going to be deactivated. Pin number 5, is for clock inputs. So you can apply the clock here. So either it is working in a clock count up mode or countdown mode, the clock must be applied at pin number 5. And you can see that there is no bubble. It means that it is changing the state on positive edge of the clock pulse. Now, this is a maximum and minimum. These are the outputs, pin number 12 and 13. So when it is working in a clock up mode, then maximum count 1111, then the output is going to be activated. And this is the ripple clock. That means when you are connecting in a cascade mode, the output of this pin should be connected to the next flip-flops. So that way you can cascade the number of binary counters. Thank you very much, friends.